Comments in both places. Fabulous. Got this all set up the way I want it. So welcome to my sewing room on a beautiful Thursday. It's all frosty outside still. Very humid in Calgary, which is weird. But I'd spend today showing you guys something you may not know about. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. So welcome to my sewing room. I'm Leah. And one of the things I do around here, when I'm not live with you guys, who are watching either live or, watching the live later on, I teach a lot of our classes. I don't teach all of our classes, but I teach many. Today we had the beginning of a series of beginner quilting classes. So over 4 weeks, we're teaching the current group how to go from never having made a quilt to having a finished quilt, which is very fun. But for today, I had a machine in the classroom that I think will be similar to lots of things that people have at home. And I would like to show you guys a trick to make your quilting more efficient. So the wording is going to vary a little bit brand by brand what things are called. But many, many, many machines come with something like a knee lifter. The Bernina name for it is called a freehand system. It varies a little bit based on size. Got another one down here from... Nope, it's almost the same. Some of them are shorter, some of them are longer. I have a stash in the studio. Because mostly once you learn to sew with a knee lift, it's very hard to go without it. If you have an older machine at home, there are some more antique machines that this was your gas pedal to make it go. You drive with your knee, which was a skill you could learn, absolutely. But on most of the new modern machines, this is not for making the machine go. This is to do a very specific job that will help you be more efficient in your sewing and also let you keep your hands on your work, which I really like. So the Bernina name for this thing, the knee lift, is called the Bernina freehand system. Brother just calls it a knee lift, and it has a very specific job. So its job is to lift the presser foot for you. So we're going to swap over to the machine camera. Can I show you the whole quilt closer? Oh, the one behind me? Probably. Probably? Or are you wanting to see the beginner quilting first class quilt? I can show you both. Oh, this is just free motioned, a whole cloth quilt behind me. Not sure which quilt you're talking about, so Anne will help get that figured out. Okay, let me switch over to the close-up camera here and I'll show you where the freehand system goes. So today's machine is a Bernina 475. The key indicator that your machine might be compatible with freehand system is a little hole in the front cover. And in that little hole is where your freehand system is going to go in. It goes into a bit of a socket in there. And each machine is a little bit different as to the angle that needs to be sitting in at. But the job of the freehand system is to raise and lower the presser foot for you. So most of the time on a machine like this one, if you're wanting to stop and put fabric underneath, you're going to take your hands off your work, lift the presser foot with the presser foot lifter in behind, and then lower it back down to get sewing again. Very doable, but not always super fast. So what I can do with a freehand system, I'm going to do a little bit of pretend quilt making today. I've got a whole bunch of pieces ready to rock and roll. Picture these like your long strip sets if you're making a quilt. So when I get started, I can use my knee lift to, that is not quite giving me the angle I want. I was hoping you could see the whole machine. I will tell you when I'm using the knee lift because that's not quite as tight a shot as I would like you to have. So that's how the knee lift goes in. Right now on screen, I do have the needle stopping in the down position when I stop sewing, but I'm going to move the camera in a little bit closer so you can see what's happening with that foot in better detail. I'm going to try not make anybody nauseous doing it. There we go. Okay, so when I use my right knee to engage the knee lift, I can raise and lower that foot. soon as I let go with the knee lift, that foot's going to come all the way back down. If I want the foot to stay up permanently, I'm still going to use the presser foot lifter on the back of the machine. Some of the machines with the electronic lift, that'll be a button on the front. There's a variety of ways you can handle this. So the first place I use my freehand system is when I'm starting out sewing at the beginning. I like to make sure I'm exactly where I want to be, so I can use my knee lift to just wiggle and get the fabric exactly where I want it, aligned with the edge of the foot. And then I'm ready to get sewing on my first little piece. When I get to the end of this piece, I've got a couple options. So we could, so right off the end of that piece, raise the foot, pull that all the way out, trim it, go and press that first piece. But if I know anything about my sewing day, once I'm seated in my chair, I'd like to stay seated for more than about 35 seconds, which is about how long you'll be seated depending on the length of the piece you're sewing. So we could trim in between each and every step, but we don't need to. We do have another option, and that would be to, with our needle lowered into the fabric when it stops, which is where mine is right now, I can use my knee lift to raise the foot up and slide that next piece, that next pair of fabrics in. And again, I can set it down, and if it's not quite in the right position, just use that knee lift to lift the foot again and wiggle the fabric where I want it to go. One more time. Not that my fabrics are ready to go. If my fabrics were already all lined up, this would be much faster than what I'm doing right now. I'm more of a pile of fabric next to me and figure it out as I go kind of sewer. Some people match these all up before they get started. And then at this point, if I am ready to take all these pieces off, we've chain pieced here across 3 pieces. We can leave the needle down, and as long as we lift the foot all the way, we'll release the tension on our fabric, and we'll be able to snip those threads. And there are fabulous cutter. If you do a lot of chain piecings, this is a chain pieced item where we've sewn all 3 pieces together and made a long chain. It's almost like a flag. It's great. If you've gone and made many of these, you're making a big king size quilt and you're chain piecing the whole thing. You might have 40 or 50 of these in a row. We can get in there and lift and snip every seam if you want. There's also chain piecing cutters where you could just pull the seam right across those cutters. So there's a couple of those available in store too. But today's focus was definitely just the knee lift is your best friend. Let me tell you, you're gonna love it. In lots of machines that have the option of presser foot lift electronically, I am faster usually with my freehand system than waiting for the machine to lift the foot so I can move. The other thing that's going to be great about the freehand system in a quilting kind of area or any other sewing is if you needed to stop and pivot, the freehand system will let you lift the foot, turn your fabric, keep sewing, lift the foot, turn the fabric, keep sewing. I love being able to manage my fabrics that way. And even if you're coming along, you start sewing these pieces together. These aren't irons, so not going to be the prettiest things I sew. But if we were to turn this into more of a block kind of seam, if I get going into this seam, I will sew partway. This is not pressed. I would go and press this, but I don't have an iron in the studio. So lots of times when we're chain piecing, we'll end up butting those seams up next to each other for the next seam. And some people get very frustrated when that top fabric flips forward on them. So the little tail of that seam flips the wrong direction after you've carefully aligned those. With the freehand system or the knee lift, you're able to lift and maneuver that piece back to where you actually intended it to be sitting before you've sewn over it and have to either unpick that seam or worse, unpick all sorts of things. But it makes it much easier to manage all sorts of things as we go. So, not pressed, not tidy, but my little tail didn't flip forward, which often happens. So using a knee lift or a freehand system does take some practice. It's not going to be something you pick up right away, but once you get the hang of it, I sew with my left foot so I can knee lift with my right, and it makes my sewing a whole lot more efficient to just be able to sit and go, and then come and snip those chains apart when I'm all done. So that's my tip for you guys. If you've got a knee lift, pull it out of the box and use it. That's what it's meant for with your machine, and enjoy it. It will do great things for you. So that's my little tip. If you weren't in beginner quilting first class with us today, you can join us for the next round. It'll be posted on the calendar when we've got it scheduled. Use your knee lift, Teresa. It's awesome. I love being able to like do that last minute little shimmy and wiggle. So much easier. Other things going on here in the store. We have another event planned that's not quilting related, but it is super adorable. I've got 2 out of the 3 pieces snuck out of the studio upstairs. Anne's been busy making the class samples for a new Kimberbell event. And this next one is called Day at the Spa, which who doesn't want to go to the spa, right? So you get to embroider some things that are spa themed. First thing up on that list is a really cute zippered bag. So with some gorgeous embroidery. And this is a fully lined little bag. Fully lined, tuck whatever you want in there for your spa day. Maybe you're having a girls' weekend, you can make these for all the girls at the girls' weekend, bridal shower gifts, all sorts of things. Project number 2 on the Day at the Spa event is a soap holder. So that's actually terry toweling on the back. And you guys can't smell this over the chat right now, but we've tucked an entire bar of soap inside this little bag. So this would be like a bath scrubby, which, not gonna lie, the soap that they found to put in this smells fabulous. But you can pick up whatever soap you want, throw that in there, and nice little hook so it can hang in your tub, and all that nice soft terry towel backing to actually do the scrubbing with. So that's project 2. And there's a very cool rope bowl in the class as well. So some neat things happening in that, and that class is happening May 10th. So one day Kimberbell event. You'll be able to join us in store or via Zoom, but you'll want to get your name on the list and plan yourself a spa day with my sewing room, an embroidery spa day with my sewing room. I can't promise we'll actually have spa things happening here in the store because we are a sewing store, not a spa. But I'm sure Sandy's got something fabulous up her sleeve for that class. So those are some of the cool things going on here at the store very soon. Spa day. Use your knee lifts. That's my recommendation for today. And if you have more questions about anything going on here in the store, give us a shout. Order desk at mysewingroom.ca. You can follow us. Check out the website mysewingroom.ca. And one more thing, up on the banner of our Facebook page is a fabulous, not of our Facebook page, of our website, is a banner that will link you to byannie.com's local quilt shop contest. So you could vote for My Sewing Room as your favorite quilt shop. Voting is live until February 29th, And the winning shop in Canada can get some pretty cool prizes that we can share out to the wider world, which is awesome. Because any prizes we get, we're going to find ways to share prizes outward with our lovely viewers and customers from all over the place. So vote for my local quilt shop. If you don't want to do that at home, Chelsea made a voting booth here in the store. So stop into the store, get yourself signed up for Day at the Spa, find yourself a machine with a knee lift so you can knee lift and sew more efficiently. going to learn to use my knee lift. That's what I'd like to hear. Little frame of reference, every industrial machine that I've ever seen has a knee lift on it. So people sewing in factories, making thousands of items an hour, this is the magic trick to making that happen so quickly. So make friends with your knee lift. If it's